In the studio, which is my home, brother Amir, and today's subject is, me and brother Amar. We had a great lunch at Bamba Cuisine. If you're in Atlanta,
it's good.
Make sure you go check it out. It's off of Capital Road, Senegalese food. And we were just chopping it up, and he was telling me his life story.
Yeah, man.
And he was telling me how he was at one time he was an ordained bishop, right?
That's
bishop.
right. That's right.
He was ordained bishop.
I wasn't one of them hollering, grabbing your ear bishops, though.
Right. But he was a bishop. And a bishop is pretty much a pastor, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. So he was an ordained pastor at one time. Mm-hmm. So he went from being ordained pastor,
that's right,
to now coming into African spirituality.
Absolutely,
so I just wanted to know more about that shift in that journey.
Yes,
so I had to invite the brother over, and we could chop it up, and you guys can enjoy it over there, whoever's watching via the live stream. But at the same time, we were just talking about his life story growing up in Rochester, New York.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I wanted to speak on that as well, just kind of your upbringing, and you're talking about just the activities that was going on.
Yeah, man, that gang life.
Right, that gang life.
Yeah, there was a lot of gang life up there. You had the G boys on the west side. I grew up on the west side and the east side, the two worst sides of Rochester, New York. And you had the G boys on the west side. You had Black Mafia on the west side. You had Crime Time Posse, and on my side, you had the Nasty Boys. You had the Hustling Hardheads. You had the Stick Up Kids. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up around with the Nasty Boys. I grew up off of Joseph Ave in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
And I grew up in North Clinton, where it was like Spanish Harlem over there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of drugs and crime and robbing and stealing. And now currently to date, you have the Bloods and the Crips up there now.
Okay. When did the Bloods and Crips come in, roughly, around when?
Oh, man, bro. I think it was maybe the early, maybe 60s, man. You caught me
60s?
on that one. Yeah, something like that. 50s, 60s, somewhere around 70s.
Really?
Somewhere like that, man. Don't quote me on that. I'm not saying I'm
okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because I wasn't involved in that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But as far as the history of them, the only thing I know is from those who were originators of it, like, T. Rogers and
T. Rogers, I don't know
what I'm saying? They, listening to them, you know what I'm saying? They said they just didn't start out, as a war between them.
Right.
I definitely know that part. You know what I'm saying? I know it wasn't a war. I know they were protectors of their neighborhoods. I definitely know that. And gang simply, we know by definition, really is a group of people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't get behind the linguistics of it, but it was, them protecting their neighborhood because of what the cops were doing to them. It was just like the Black Panthers, had originated. It was the same thing.
And there's a documentary, very good documentary that is on HBO. It's called Bastards of the Party. Mm-hmm. And what they're saying, basically, the gang started once the Black Panther Party got railroaded. Mm-hmm. And as we were speaking on offline, just the lack of elders in leadership. Because once the Black Panther Party got railroaded, there weren't that many elders or leaders for the youth coming up, and then that's when shit just went south.
Yeah, that's true. Like he was talking about, man. It's like we're going backwards. Like brothers like you and I, who find out our culture, are now sitting in the seat of being a mwalimu, a teacher.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now we're teaching our elders, and as you know, the elders, and you've been to Africa numerous times, so I know you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
The elders are the ones that teach the younger generation, and that's what we're missing, man. You know what I'm saying? And now we're the ones teaching our grandparents, our aunties, our uncles, when it was initially them teaching us that. So you see what we lost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And truly it is like Sankofa. We going back seeking that which we have lost. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that once we find not only just, our culture, we have to disseminate that information. As you know, it's not enough to know. If you don't share that information, then our people are still going to go on lacking the knowledge of self. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of people that don't really share it in love as well. It's this mockery. I may be a former Christian, but so once was I.
Right.
I don't believe in mocking them. You know what I'm saying? I believe in teaching.
I try not to mock, but sometimes I have to call out the buffoonery. You know, I try not to, but some of them make it so easy.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true, man. I understand, man. Like, you know, talking about, a bunny rabbit legs, eggs, man.
Yeah,
I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no doubt. And then, the fake speaking in tongues and, the tithing.
But as far as the speaking in tongues, that originates from African spirituality.
Oh, I got you.
And so
I'm talking about the fakers.
Well, okay, the fakers. Okay, true.
And some of them fake, you know what I mean? So people won't think they don't have the Holy Spirit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But like I said, a lot of it originates from African spirituality, but they will still demonize African spirituality.
That's true.
You know.
That's true. I've lost a lot of followers once I converted, man. Once I converted to true African spirituality, I had almost 4,000 people literally just on my page, my Facebook page. When I said that, I'm following after our African spirituality, and those who are not, willing to continue to connect with me on that level, you may leave. And that's what they did. I went down to 2,000 and some followers after that, man. That's a true story.
Let's unpackage that. So speak on your Christian upbringing, I guess, and what made you become a bishop. And
okay,
yeah,
sure, man. My mother taught me how to pray. My grandmother taught me about Christianity. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't forced on me. See, I'm one of them fortunate people. I'm not going to inflate my story. It wasn't forced on me. My mother believed in allowing me to make that choice. And of course, she only could teach me what she knew. You know what I'm saying? So I was raised up in the church.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the truth of the matter is, we were taught, like you said, that if we followed after our spirituality, it is satanic. It's the devil. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, I never dared to venture there due to the fear that was instilled in me over hell. Me losing my soul. Now, I'm going to just be frank with you.
Sure. In African spirituality, there's no concept of hell or the devil.
Oh, no. That's right. Absolutely. I know that now, of course. Being now that, I'm a practitioner of Ifa. You know what I'm saying? I'm a beginner at it, though. However, absolutely, I concur. I just didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? And so I personally had got involved with the supernatural. I'm one of them Christians who you couldn't get me not to believe in Jesus or the power in his name, because we, my queen and I both, are former Christian ministers.
Right.
And so, but we were the ones who was operating in the miracle side, like the healing. And I grew up in a Pentecostal and apostolic background. You know what I'm saying? Where we believed in that.
I went to an apostolic church.
Oh, yes,
I mean, not church, but private school. Elementary, from kindergarten all the way to junior high. I went to apostolic Christian school. Yeah. And I used to be in the pews. I used to do all of it.
You one of the fake tongue speakers?
Yeah. But a couple times the Spirit hit me.
Okay.
Because they put fear, like if you don't get the Holy Spirit, you're not gonna go to heaven.
Yeah,
I was 5-6 years old.
Oh yeah.
So I used to
That's right.
So I didn't want to go to hell.
Some will go as far as to say if you don't speak in tongues that you're going to hell.
Right.
If a woman preach, she going to hell. Everything was hell back then.
With the Pentecostal church, if a woman wore makeup, a dress, pants,
that's
makeup,
right.
she cut her hair, she going to hell.
Oh yeah.
No question.
And if her shoulder even showed. Or toes even showed.
We couldn't hug. Nothing.
You know what I'm saying, man? That was just absolutely bananas, man.
So what I would do, I would hug the girls on the weekends. And then on Monday, yeah,
man, I tell you what though, man, I can't lie to you, man. We weren't that afraid of God because we had girls all up on us in church as well. Like we used to go to the back room and stuff up in church, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So, when I was younger. But anyway, man, what happened to me, man, was that, you know what I'm saying? Some people don't have that experience, but I had that experience. I'm talking about a real experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And because of that, me having that experience, man, it made me believe in Jesus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The power in the name of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So that's why my faith was so strong in what I was following after. But what happened was, I'll be frank with you, and a lot of people may be amazed when I say this, but when I talk to the Hebrew Israelites, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they talk to me about the miseducated doctrine about tithing. You know what I'm saying?
Like the militant ones that dress up in the
well, no, honestly,
the
man,
superhero outfits.
No, not the ones that say that's right.
Yeah.
No, not
John chapter 4, verse 15. Read.
No, man. No, it wasn't none of those, brother, man. It was another. Actually, man, they didn't even label themselves like that. To be honest with you, it was just a camp. And once I started studying, to be honest with you, I started seeing the contradictions. I just didn't believe in it no more. Period.
Right.
And, you know, I couldn't be a bishop no more. I said, man, how can I stand up here and tell these people, like, for instance, like, I want to give a couple examples and to be very brief.
Go ahead. Take your time.
About how Jesus was on the cross.
Right.
And the sign that was over Jesus on the cross, allegedly, right? And all those, it had different statements in these different gospels. They weren't in harmony.
Right.
And then one gospel said Peter looked into the tomb. The other one said he went into the tomb.
Right.
One gospel said there was 2 angels at the tomb. The other one said there was 1 at the tomb. You know what I'm saying? Then Paul said these are allegories. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly in Galatians, you know what I'm saying? These stories are allegories. I'm like, whoa. Then I recognized that some people were saying, women in the church, right? They tell you, I believe in the Bible. It's the inspired word of God. And I said, well, why you preaching it? You know what I'm saying? I just seen the lies, man. I'm like, okay, if you believe in everything that you're reading, then why are you preaching? Because Paul said you shouldn't preach. So if you believe that everything in there is the word from God, then why are you preaching? You know what I'm saying? Then a lot of them don't challenge the fact, right? He said they need to be quiet, right? And then this is the last one. But prophecy is a vocal gift. So I'm like, wait a minute. Now he just taught about if a woman prophesies, that means she have to speak.
Right.
So I'm like, how can she prophesy and not speak? That didn't make sense. But then you just said over here for the women to be quiet and don't say nothing. I'm saying that's an oxymoron, man. You know what I'm saying? So I had to leave it alone, bro. I said, nah, I had to leave it alone. And then I found out, you know, about how the slave masters used the Bible.
You know, and it's funny. Amir here in the chat room. Shout out to Amir all the way in Mombasa. Why was Jesus quiet during slavery, Jim Crow, and mass imprisonment?
What happened again?
Why was Jesus quiet during slavery, Jim Crow, and mass imprisonment?
Exactly. That's the same question I asked. Because it didn't make sense to me. Like, okay, he could save us from our sins, but he couldn't save us from the slave master.
Right.
Okay, he loved us so much.
You know what good black Christian folks would tell you?
What's that?
It was God's will.
Yeah, exactly. And that just that I wasn't feeling that, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't feeling that. I'm like, that's not making any sense because it says that you know, whatsoever you pray,
right,
and whatsoever in his name, it shall be done. It don't say if and or but. It said whatsoever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they prayed to Jesus, the one salvation. That's what it means. The one who saves delivers. But that didn't make any sense to me. He saved the house of Israel allegedly.
Allegedly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I guess because we're not Israel, that we're gonna get saved.
Right. And then here's my
because
favorite.
that's not our book.
And here's my favorite.
Because we African.
Right.
Like some of them say. Right.
Right. And here's my favorite.
That didn't make any sense either.
There's a curse, right? So he placed a curse on us, and the curse is for what? Was it 400 years, 2,000 years? Is that the curse?
Well,
is that what I think the Nation of Islam and the Hebrew?
Yeah, I think they're talking about the Old Testament.
Right. So the curse should be coming up January 1. So it should be all good come January 1, 2019. we should mass imprisonment should stop. Unarmed black men getting shot, that should stop. Racism should stop. So come January 1st, 2019, it should be all good.
Yeah, man. You know, honestly, I honestly, man, I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. It dumbed me down, brother. It really gives a lot of people a bad case of psychosis.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to face reality, brother. They really don't. You know what I'm saying? And I understand because they're taught into lies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unbeknownst to them, they don't want to face the realization, even about tithing. Now, I can't lie. That's something that, like when I was a bishop, believe it or not, I didn't teach tithing.
Oh, wow.
I didn't teach. I promise you. I didn't tell nobody to tithe to me because at that time I got ordained that year and I started following after the Hebrewic side.
Okay.
And started really getting into the Old Testament and looking at the historicity of tithing. And once I started seeing all these diverse scriptures and talking about how tithing wasn't even money, how it was oil, how it was grain. And so when it came to Malachi chapter number 3, it was talking about bringing everything in the storehouse. It actually relates to where, according to the Bible story, where it relates to them actually bringing all those things to the actual priests. And it was only wheat, oil, grain, stuff like that. And if they did, the only time it's mentioned about money is allegedly if the place of worship was too far from Jerusalem, they were able to turn it into according to the Old Testament. So when I read that, I said, man, what else have I been told? It's a bunch of lies.
Right.
And I just left it alone, man. You know what I'm saying? I went after my own spirituality, man. I believe the ancestors spoke to me. You know, some people could call it spookism or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of amazing to me how I do my altar work. You know, how I do get these answers. How I'm connected with brothers like yourself and other sisters who are, you know, rooted into our spirituality. Right. That's what I'm talking about. You know, so it helped me to get even closer to our spirituality, man, because I was very desperate, man, to find out who I am, where we come from. I recognize we didn't speak our language.
Right.
You know, I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be frank with you, bro. I started questioning myself. I said, yeah, man, why don't I talk?
Are there more bishops and pastors like yourself who do question themselves but refuse to, I guess, admit that they're, you know, that they question the Bible and they just show up to work?
Honestly, I love my brother, but I do have a friend who wrestles with that.
Right.
Really does. Started on the path, but I understand the struggle. It's a fear, man. I promise you, it's a tormenting fear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're so afraid of a place that don't exist, but they've been so persuaded in their mind that it's real. You know what I'm saying? To where it has them seized up with fear. It's a fearful religion. That's all it is. It's just all fear. It's a terroristic tactic to me. You know what I'm saying? To get you. It just don't make any sense if a woman wears women's pants, she going hell. That don't even make sense. It's in a woman department store. You know what I'm saying? Clothes has evolved with time. You see what I'm saying? Clothes have evolved with time. I mean, back then we didn't wear collar shirts.
True.
We didn't wear t-shirts.
True.
So you telling me now that a woman wearing woman's pants from a woman's department store, her soul lost for the
right.
Dude, it's just logic. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
It just doesn't, man. So I had to relinquish that lifestyle, man, you know. And so once I got introduced to it, like my Mwalimu, which is teacher in Swahili.
Right.
When I met him, Dr. AK, I heard him speak at a gentleman brunch. And he started talking about the same thing Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talked about us being stripped from our language. And when I was there at that party, you seen the picture of me, man, in that suit and that tie, right? Standing next to him. And when I showed you, bro, once he finished speaking, man, you know what I'm saying? He's from Ghana, by the way. He was born and raised there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So once I finished hearing him speak, you know what I'm saying? I said, man, I have to change. I have to transform my ways. I said, it's not enough for me to be talking about embracing my culture and I'm still dressed like a European.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I said, okay, the mentality transforms and then your outside transforms. First your mind and then the outside and everything else start transforming. So that's what pretty much inspired me to start Al-Kabbalah Unity Alliance. Okay. Man. You know, to introduce people to their culture.
See what we got in the chat room. We have 164 people watching, only 43 likes. Guys, please hit that like button. Are you familiar with Pastor Ray Higgins?
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on him? Somebody brought him up in the chat room. And also, whoever brought up Masters of the Party, the documentary, guys, this is an excellent documentary. If you want to learn more about the origins of what caused, what started or kicked off, I guess, the gang violence in L.A., Masters of the Party is an excellent documentary. But what are your thoughts on pastors like Ray Higgins?
Pastor Ray Higgins, I respect him. I do. You know, he's doing a great work. Matter of fact, Brother Wesley, the pastor excuse me, who we was talking about, he actually started following after Dr. Ray Higgins, Pastor Wesley, he's a former pastor. And he teaches African spirituality. I to be honest, it's a little Christian to me, like kind of based. I know they use African things, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I believe if you're going to get away from it, get away from it. You know what I'm saying? Get away from it. Now, although some verses in there, a lot of people don't notice. Like for instance, you know, the kingdom of heaven is within. Any of my Kemetic brothers and sisters out there watching knows that that's an ancient, you know, wise statement. You know what I'm saying? So anybody knows too that it's the Bible is just fragmentations of, you know, different spiritual systems from Africa. So wisdom to me transcends a Bible anyway. However, man, you know, I respect them. Hopefully I answer your question. I respect them.
Okay, what else we have here in the chat room? So when you told your friends and family, like, look, I'm done with Christianity.
This is a good one.
I'm going to start shifting into African spirituality. How was that received?
Oh, man, brother. Like I told you in the beginning, man, they left. They left, man. I mean, seriously, like I have some family members won't even deal with me.
Are you serious?
Yes.
See, none of my family, they think I'm crazy, some of them. They think I'm Kanye West crazy, but, you know, they haven't cut me off.
Now, that's like, crazy right there, bro.
Some think I'm Kanye West crazy.
Woo! My goodness, man. That brother, he needs some help.
Yeah. So they think I'm crazy, but they haven't, you know. Because it's just, for our people, it's still taboo to want to reconnect back to the continent.
Yes.
That's how a lot of them think. So to some of them, they think I'm obsessed. I go back. Let's see here. I went August, October, November, and I'll leave next week. So they're like, why are you going over there so much? I'm like, I can't go over. I can't travel. If I was going to Europe that much, it'd be no problem.
That's sad, man. That's sad that a lot of people even have to even ask you that question.
Why you going
like
there
you're
so
an
much?
African descent. Like, why do you go home so much?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Why you go back to visit your family in the various states in the country? That's your family. You know what I'm saying? So it's sad. I understand why they ask those foolish questions.
Question.
You know what I'm saying? Sure.
Since you were involved in the church, somebody brought this up in the chat room.
Sure.
Where is all the church money going?
Oh, wonderful. It's what a lot of you brothers and sisters have heard is true. A lot of them are not using it the right way. In fact, let me tell you what happened to me. I remember I was under a pastor, and every time somebody came to him, he would ask, do they have any money? And that's a true story. And I was an elder in the ministry. You know what I'm saying? And whenever somebody wanted to come speak to him, he would always ask me, do they have an offering, man? And I checked him on that. I said, why is it that every time somebody comes and asks, can they come talk to you, you want to know if they have an offering?
Okay. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
If he would have responded, well, my time is valuable.
No, he didn't respond to that. He just said, I'm an apostle, and, you know, who are you to be questioning me? That's what his response was.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So should churches be 501c3s, or should they operate like regular corporations?
Well,
because they're nonprofits right now.
Well, yeah, that's what they are. That's what they are. But you know, you got to think about it. It's 501c3 because it was Europeanized. You know what I'm saying? It's Europeanized. You know, so of course, because it's their religion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care nothing about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They can do what they will with that garbage. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just want our people to be free, man. That's what I'm concerned about. You know what I'm saying? Is our people being free from those lies that they're being taught and come back home, man.
Right.
That's what I want to see.
Let's see what else we have here in the chat room. So the money isn't being circulated back into the community.
I would say for some. I mean, I'd be making a very broad statement to talk for every church in the United States or abroad. You know what I'm saying? That would be foolish of me to make that such a broad statement. The only thing I can say is I've been in some ministries where they did the right thing, and I've been in a ministry, not every ministry I was a part of. You know, some did, some didn't. That one just happened to be a money hungry, you know, preacher. And I left.
So how do you feel about pastors like Creflo Dollar and TV
Oh man,
shows?
I don't respect Creflo at all, man. He was caught up with that apostle that they actually interviewed. I wish I could remember that.
Oh, okay. Is
name.
this the one that in the judge or the interrogator was
he
like?
Was affiliated with him.
He was like, okay, so you spent $10,000 at the Gucci store.
Yes.
Or at the Louis Vuitton store, and he was like, "Yeah,
Bruh,
I just needed to get
check the records."
He talking about them.
And it was the one. It's the one guy that talked about money coming to me now. I can't remember that pastor name, but anyway,
I know exactly who you're talking about.
He was right there, literally on TV with all of them. He invited them to come to his church, to his temple.
And then I remember the interrogator, whoever it was, or the judge was like, "So you spent $100,000 on clothes in 1 year. Is there a reason why?" He was like, "Well," he was stuttering. He was like, "Well, I just, my image
because his hypocritical self was caught. That's what that was."
Did he get arrested, locked up?
Not from my knowledge. Not from my knowledge at all. Not from my knowledge at all.
He was sweating.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know he definitely got highlighted. I know I shared that video. I know that so people can see what he all about. And if somebody want to come, on my page, a part of that congregation talking about, oh, God is going to get you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, whatever, man.
Get you for what?
Because I was unveiling their apostle. He's touching out my anointing. Do my prophets no harm. They always saying that, bro. They say that all the time when it comes to you dealing with them, you know what I'm saying, and their hypocrisy. But they never want to talk about how even in their own Bible, when Paul allegedly rebuked Peter for being a hypocrite, but if you deal with them on that level, it's not of God. You know what I'm saying? It's not of God.
You're a heathen.
You're a heathen. God is going to strike you for calling them out. You know what I'm saying? That don't make sense to me, man. If somebody's a liar, that's what they are. That's just the bottom line.
What would be your message to people who say, for example, the reason why we went through slavery is because it's God's will? Like, they like to hide behind God's will. What would be your response to people like that?
Man, I feel sorry for people who think like that. Mm-hmm. And my response, to them would be, why would you want to serve a God?
Now,
that your answer be. Exactly. I mean, sitting up in the sky, watching you suffer just to prove who he is. Mm-hmm. Or I'm letting you go through this so you can see how powerful I am. Right. You know what I'm saying? That don't make sense to me. If I know I'm a father, I wouldn't let my son go through something traumatic like that. I would protect my son. If I know something is getting ready, I'm my son and my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? I want to let my grandson or my son, and I'm an uncle, I want to let them go through that. I will protect them, you know what I'm saying, from anybody that's trying to harm them. So I can't see where that's love at. I can't see this love, man. I don't understand, you know what I'm saying, where there's love at. I can understand how, if you the God, matter of fact, if you the same yesterday, today, forevermore, and you don't change, then why didn't you come rescue us like you allegedly rescued the house of Israel? Right. If you the God of our salvation, which means deliverer, you come to rescue us, then why haven't you done it? Okay. And I know some people, save yourself. Mm-hmm. Save yourself. Save yourself. Save, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We can definitely save ourselves. That's what I believe in.
Shout out to Nadoop and Bernice for the super chats. So then what about the people that say that black people are the Israelites?
I'm sorry, family, if you are a Hebrew Israelite, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? I don't mean to offend you at all.
So, because if they say that black people are the Israelites, right? Then who did Jesus save if we went through slavery? You know what I mean? Yeah. So he delivered us from Egypt, allegedly.
Right. Allegedly.
Right. So I'm confused. So.
Allegedly. I would have to say this, man. First of all, with myself, I questioned elders in my family for me to find out my bloodline. Okay? That's how I found out where we come from. Right. You know what I'm saying? My second cousin, to be more distinct, and my grandmothers on my mother and my father's side told me who we are, where we come from. Right. Now, it's sad I had to ask that question. They didn't just tell us that. You know what I'm saying? But that's who I was told by. So a lot of them, they go by a book and they go by that story we was brought over here on slave ships. But anybody who knows the historicity of slavery knows that we come from different countries. Right. And the main ones who I know who claim to be that, and I spoke to an Igbo brother myself personally, who believe that they're the Hebrews. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You know, I'm just saying that's where he's from. He literally was born and raised there. You know what I'm saying? That's what he said. Do I believe that? No. But he believes that. So I mean, hey. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not a Hebrew. I just know that. You know?
Someone's asking, I know you spoke on Creflo Dollar. What are your thoughts on TD Jakes?
I would say this, man. You know, he's become more of a motivational speaker.
True.
More than anything else.
True.
You know, to be honest with you know what I'm saying? Of course, anybody listen to what he says, he speaks with wisdom about certain things. I mean, that's undeniable. You know, is he lost? Definitely. He has. I mean, if he's not talking African spirituality, he's still lost. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't negate the fact that he's a man of wisdom and knows business. You know what I'm saying? From a business entrepreneur standpoint, you know, he's a phenomenal businessman. You know what I'm saying? That's what I have to really say about that. I would say he's still a lost preacher.
So can you be a pastor and a businessman at the same time? Or
yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Someone in the chat room says, our Jesus was born in Augusta, Georgia, and taught us for 44 years and left to minister with us. And we're still not latching on. I think he's talking about
Elijah Muhammad?
Yeah, but Elijah Muhammad was born in Washington, Georgia.
Okay.
Which is, I guess, like 2 hours from Augusta. But
okay.
So when people make statements like this, Sandersville, there you go, Sandersville, Washington County. I think Sandersville's in Washington, near Washington, Georgia, something like that. So when people make statements like this, like the one he just made as far as Farad Muhammad, I guess he's talking about Farad Muhammad. Well, Farad Muhammad came to Elijah Muhammad. And I guess Farad or Elijah Muhammad being the savior, like, what are your thoughts on, like, sects of religions saying that their God was the savior? Since we didn't follow that person, that's why we're struggling.
Okay. I would say that they definitely brought, you know, some light to us, man.
Right.
About us being people of pride of our ethnicity. I don't agree with everything, you know what I'm saying, because I don't believe in religion, you know what I'm saying, per se. You know, I don't agree with that point, but what I do agree with is the business aspect that they taught us and the cultural pride that they taught us, the love of self that they taught us. That's undeniable, man. That's undeniable. They taught us to love ourselves, man. They taught us to love each other. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, who could ever deny that?
Right.
You know what I mean? But as far as the religious aspect, I throw it all away. You know what I'm saying? I throw it all away, man. I don't believe in none of that. You know what I'm saying? But I believe, to me, myself personally, I still think it's still an illusion that they're following that. Because they're still going by a book. Oh, Prophet Muhammad said this, and you know what I'm saying, this and that. But hey, man, you know, that made you a better man or made you a better woman. Who am I to refute you on that?
Beverly Ashley, you said, please get Dr. Obadeli come on my show. I'm actually meeting with Obadeli week after next when I go to Ghana, so he will be on the show. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Okay, Dynast, so look at it this way. Ancient Israelites and modern day Yisrael. Look at today's Native Americans compared to the original copper-colored indigenous. Do you believe we were copper-colored indigenous Moors here in America? Like,
well, you know, to be frank with you, man, I believe the Moors, of course, obviously, historically have existed.
Right.
And obviously there were some Moors that came here. That's historical data. But as far as that Native American thing, there's no such thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not even American. You know what I'm saying? You know, the natives are the ones that were born here. You know what I'm saying? The so-called Cherokees, the Blackfoots, you know what I'm saying? And so forth and so on. You know, they're the true indigenous people of this continent. You know what I'm saying? I only claim that because my great-great-grandmother was, in fact, you know, born to the so-called Cherokee people.
Okay. Now, as a slave, or was she?
Oh, no, she was free.
She was free, but...
Oh, yeah.
You said...
My great-great-grandmother was full-blooded, man. Full-blooded Cherokee.
Like, African or
no, straight Cherokee, like
Okay.
full-blooded Cherokee from here.
Okay.
Yeah, my grandfather was brought over here as a slave,
Okay.
and he was freed in Florida.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And that's how, once he was freed, he met my great-great-grandmother. Here come all of us.
Okay. Got you. Got you.
So he was the African.
Let's see here. So, where you're at now in life, as far as your organization and programs, go ahead and speak on that.
Okay, well, we pretty much, we deal with the African studies, man. We want to introduce people back to their culture. We focus on your spiritual, your financial, and also the knowledge of self, and health and wealth. And we like people to be empowered in those areas, man. We also connect people with various people who are subject matter experts in business, because we all know that, you can't fight a monopoly without money. You can't fight capitalism without capital. You know what I'm saying? So, we want our people to level up in those areas, their health and their spirituality and the knowledge of self, man, because we all know the lack of knowledge and all of the above that I aforementioned is killing us, literally. You know what I'm saying? We're constantly making, everybody else rich besides ourselves, man. Everybody's a consumer at some aspect, because we don't own everything. Right. So everybody's a consumer in some aspect. But what we want to do is start having more ownership. And that's what we pushing towards. We own 2 businesses. Next year, we're going into our real estate investment business and things of that nature. So my queen and I, Amani, Mari and I, we are definitely pushing that in our community, to help empower our people in all of the arenas that I foresaid.
See what else we got here in the chat room.
The name of businesses are Synergetic. Synergetic.
Yeah, shout
Network
out
Group.
websites, all that.
Sure. It's Synergetic Network Group LLC. That's SYNGERTIC. Did I spell that right?
Yeah, you have a website?
It's www. I can spell it for you.
Go ahead.
Synergetic, SYNGETIC. What?
Okay, SYNER.
Yeah, Syner. GETIC.
Okay. .com?
Yeah. Synergetic Group, Synergetic Network Group.
Synergetic Work Group.
The Network Group.
Network Group, okay.
Yeah.
.com?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
And then we have Al Kelvin Lifestyle, where we sell these clothes from Ghana, Accra, Ghana. That's alkelvinlife.com.
Okay.
www.alkelvinlife.com.
Got it. Okay. You brought up capitalism. A lot of people will say Pan-Africanism, African consciousness, and capitalism don't go, don't mix. It's socialism. What will be your thoughts on that?
Well, I will pretty much say, man, that it's a combination. You know what I'm saying? Because you can look at that in a negative sense. You know what I'm saying? You can look at that in a positive sense, because you look at again, linguistically, socialism, social.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Julius Nyerere was considered to flow in that.
Right.
Thomas Sankara, the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So you just simply dealing with, the interaction of your people, how you deal with one another. That's all social study, a socialist is, right? You know what I'm saying? It's the interaction of people. You know what I'm saying? How you interact with one another. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's all you're dealing with, man. You're dealing with money with capitalism. You know what I'm saying? The ownership of the industry and the businesses and what have you. You know what I'm saying? Who controls, the economy and things of that nature. So, you got to be able to have money to be able to deal with a nation. So many of us, bro, they talk about black power. They raise their fist. Black power. But what is power? Power, by definition, is to enable. So what are you saying, or what are you doing to enable our people? You know what I'm saying? To disarm them from being crippled. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking at, is we have to, have our own businesses. And it's nothing new. We always talk about this. We need to get back to doing it. I can't stand when people talk like we don't know how to do business. You know what I'm saying? When you had Black Wall Streets all over the nation, not just in Oklahoma. You know, in Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to think about before we came over here, we dealt with bartering. We bartered with each other. Right. So you know what I'm saying? We have to get back to it. That's what we need to do. Strongly get back to it. You know what I'm saying? To be able to build a nation. And also, we got to think about this too. You stop working for the Caucasian, then what you gonna do?
Right.
I'm not saying not do it. I'm just saying stop running your mouth and think a little more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Have a strategic plan. You know, oh yeah, everybody, let's leave off our job. Now everybody looking at each other, well, what we gonna do? How we gonna eat? You know, so it's beyond just walking off. You got to have a strategic plan, you know, in place. You know, okay, so you want to start a school, who gonna pay the teachers?
Right.
Yeah, you can build the building, but who gonna pay the teachers? Oh, we need our own police officers. Okay, who gonna pay them?
True.
You have your own hospitals. Okay, who gonna pay the doctors? They gotta feed their family too.
Right.
But so many people talk about that, but they don't go far enough along in the process. And then we get mad, brother, after we have a meeting and it's adjourned. Right. And we look around our community, it's the same way.
Right.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Was it?
You know what I'm saying? So it's just the truth. We got to be realistic about things. Just like it took us 100 years. You know, it was hundreds of years we was in slavery. It's going to take a good while for us to come out of this what we're in, man, because you're dealing with post-traumatic slave disorder, just like, you know, Dr. Joy DeGruy had taught us. You know, and Mother, you know, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, peace and blessings be upon her, you know what I'm saying, who was a great activist within the community. We're dealing with a psychological problem, so it's going to take time for this to happen. And then we got to have people with the spirit of Ujima, UJIMA, you know, collective work and responsibility. You know what I'm saying? One of our 7 principles of Kwanzaa, right? You know, taking our brother sister problems, making it our problems, and solving them together. But how can we do that until our mind change? That's what I'm more focused on. The revolution of our minds first. If we don't transform our minds, then we're never going to get to that point.
True.
How are you going to get to step 2, building a nation, when you can't even come together and congregate without somebody fighting and fussing and all that other stuff like that? I even seen it, you know, no disrespect to my brothers and sisters with the Kemetic side and the Hebrew Israelite side. They almost doggone near getting into fighting each other, man. Like literally getting ready to fight. But you talking about, you know, about unity.
Right.
That's, man, where's the love at in that, man?
Let me ask you this, since you brought up Kemet and we're speaking on your spiritual journey. Should Black people start with West Africa or start with Kemet when it comes to your spiritual path? I think just from traveling and just from studying history, we should start in West Africa because that's where we're most closely related to. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, I believe anything, to be frank with you, I can't lie. I believe anything African that's positive. That's not the dark side of spirituality. You know what I'm saying? I believe we should gravitate towards it. That's a step, man. Because let the truth be told, Brother Dynast, a lot of us don't even know exactly where we come from, man. It's sad that we are left to taking DNA tests.
Right.
And I think that some people don't understand how severe of a job the racists did on us.
Right.
Man, I don't know if some people really think about that. You are left to take a DNA test.
Right.
That you telling me your grandmama, your grandfather, your uncles, your aunties, your mama, they can't tell you who you are?
We're disconnected.
Bro, we are in a serious fight for our minds. When you can't, when your grandmama, your great grandmama can't even tell you where she come from or where you come from. You see what I'm saying? So it's serious. So I would say, man, anything African that's positive, those brothers follow after Kemet, let them do it. Let them follow after Aset and Uhuru. Let them do it. It's African. At least they ridding themselves of those European ideologies. If it's Ifa, you know what I'm saying? If it's voodoo, let them follow it. It's going to make them a better man and a better woman.
What about the self-hate? How do we get rid of this self-hate amongst our people? I mean, we hate ourselves. Like, it's just,
man,
it's on the continent too.
Yes, we do, brother. We do that, like, as our force said, I'm very simple. It's being taught accurate information, not just being taught. We have to be taught accurate information. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that sound teaching, when it's applied, brings about a sound mind. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that we have to be taught about ourselves, brother. We have to be taught about our inventors.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We have to be taught about, George Washington Carver.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We have to be taught about Benjamin Banneker. Because it's sad that our brothers and sisters, and even our younger generation, they know about George Washington, but they don't know about George Washington Carver. They know about Benjamin Franklin, but they don't know about Benjamin Banneker.
George Washington Carver and Booker T. Washington built Tuskegee pretty much out of nothing.
Absolutely.
For the most part, yeah.
And what bothers me too, is they disrespect us. These racists disrespect us so much. Mm-hmm. But the very White House that they're in, our ancestor was the one who built it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But they try to make us seem like we're dumb.
Right.
So why do I say this?
Benjamin Banneker built D.C., didn't he?
Yeah, he drew out the book. And also the almanac.
Right.
Yeah, Benjamin Banneker did that. You know what I'm saying? He was in the science big time. Very educated brother. You know what I'm saying? Peace and blessings be upon him as well. And I honor our ancestors for that. I give thanks. But that's what we need to do. I believe that the more, bro, we are familiarized with who we are, the more confidence we'll have. I believe a lot of us are ashamed to be us because we don't know what we've done.
True.
Let that be told, man. A lot of us think that we're too stupid. Mm-hmm. We're not intellectual enough for us to do such things. But if we find out more about the inventions that we invented, you know what I'm saying, like the stoplight, the gas mask, you know what I'm saying? And then who was the one who did the blueprint for Ford? George Washington Carver.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who did that for Ford? But is he going to get that?
No.
Nah. You know what I'm saying? Then Thomas Edison stole some of their stuff. Our ancestors' stuff.
Right.
He was known for that. Stealing patents. You know what I'm saying? So the more we understand who we are and the more we know about who we are, I believe the more confidence we'll have. You know what I'm saying? And I believe because of racism, it has mentally crippled us from us thinking that we're capable of doing anything. Why? Because the white man got to sign everything.
Right.
The white man write the Constitution for the states, the governors. That's why none of us are in those positions. You know what I'm saying? That's why none of us, even when he's the president, Obama, they still control the White House.
Right.
They still control the White House. So, that's why they take over the Senate and being commissioners and governors and, and what have you, man. So they can control the system. So we don't even need to even have confidence in that. What we should do is get financially stable, get our queens, you know what I'm saying, to be able to teach our children. We need to start focusing on, having higher paying jobs and things of this nature, you know what I'm saying? Focus on being able to have our queens home with the children so we can homeschool our children. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's like the most efficient way because it costs. And also the rich people too that have left our neighborhoods, I pray, you know what I'm saying, that their minds change and that they start pouring back in the communities because it costs to run a community.
Right.
This I don't know what we be thinking, man. This is not ancient times where you don't have electricity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have running water and you know what I'm saying?